upon you. Welcome back to another episode of Successful Ever After.
It is exciting to have you all back again for another episode of our podcast.
I'm Haya.
And I'm Tuba.
We are your host for this insightful podcast.
If you're joining us for the first time, we welcome you to our sisterhood and to this wonderful podcast.
Here is a new episode discussing the most frequently asked questions about the religion of peace. We are now getting more deeper and serious with these questions. Let's begin today's episode with a very important question. Why Islam claims to be a religion of moderation?
Islam is a religion of moderation, and the community of believers is described as community of moderation, contrary to how it is portrayed in the popular media today. Muslims are expected to maintain a delicate balance between any two extremes, the worldly and the spiritual, the work and relaxation, pride and humility, extravagance and frugalness, even hunger and satiety. Religion strikes a beautiful balance in all areas of life. Islam commands believers to fulfill certain duties and obligations, but there are always exceptions for those who are unable to do so.
That's very interesting.
Yes, we are prohibited from eating pork products unless it is out of dire necessity. We are expected to pray standing up unless we are sick, too old, or weak, in which case we may sit down or lie down. Overall, Islam accommodates the various needs and situations of all members of the society, in all places and all times. God does not charge anyone with a responsibility or burden greater than he or she can possibly bear. This is the central tenet of religion in Islam.
This was a very profound answer, but the next question is also quite often discussed and asked about. But we would be getting more into the theoretical aspect. Yes, so let's move on to the next question. What is Islamic Sharia?
Islamic Sharia is often wrongly portrayed as Islamic law, causing one to assume that it consists mainly of rulings on crimes and harsh penalties. However, Sharia encompasses much more than the conventional understanding of law. Sharia is the practical guidance Muslims live by, and it is rooted in the divine teachings of Islam. Its collective aim is to facilitate justice and benefits. Sharia, it is derived from the scholarly study of Islamic texts, which is the Quran and the Sunnah, through interpretive reasoning, legal analogy, and scholarly consensus. Sharia scaremongering seems to be gaining momentum in the West, where politicians scramble to pass anti-Sharia legislation to ensure that no Sharia law can sneak into their legal systems.
This is quite an important thing to note.
Yes, the truth is, application of Sharia in the West is only significant to Muslims and their family life, and cannot be viewed differently from the Jewish law or the Catholic canon law that is currently allowed to function in the secular West. Besides, Sharia will only be binding upon the parties when both sides agree to submit to the Sharia arbitration tribunal, and that arbitration tribunal will only be concerned with family matters involving marital disputes, child custody, issues of inheritance, etc.
Okay.
Yes, unfortunately, most people who speak passionately against Sharia do not in reality understand it, and thus approach this issue with ignorance.
That is so true. There are a lot of misconceptions surrounding this topic and is seen in probably a negative light and misunderstood by a lot of people.
Yes, continuing with the same momentum, our next question is also a very persistently asked question, and definitely a question we need to clear in the minds of many that are confused about. So could you give us clarity on why do Muslims eat halal food?
Yes, sure. Islam gives guidelines on what exactly is considered lawful and halal to consume and what is considered unlawful or haram to consume.
Okay.
First of all, we need to understand that halal means that which is lawful. It is a wide umbrella term which includes lawful things. Eating and drinking halal or lawful food is an essential part of being a Muslim. The Creator has prescribed for us safe, pure, uncontaminated food and drink. Through His divine wisdom, God has made the consumption of meat from animals that have not been slaughtered in Islamic way. The Islamic method is by cutting the throat with a sharp knife at one blow. That doesn't cause pain to the animal, and also by invoking Allah's name.
Oh, okay. I wanted to ask regarding that actually. Wouldn't it cause pain and cause suffering to the animal?
Not really, because the Islamic way of slaughter doesn't cause any pain when compared to other ways, like machines or using bullets to slaughter them. It also drains out all the blood from the animal body, which is impure and may cause diseases. It is the safest way and the best way to consume meat.
All right, this gives much more clarity on this topic.
Yes, to clarify more, God has also made unlawful the consumption of certain meat, such as carrion, blood, pork, and a meat of animals that have been strangled, beaten, fallen to their death, gored, and devoured by beasts of prey. He also made unlawful the consumption of animal when sacrificed for other than God. For example, animal used in idolatrous sacrifices.
Oh, okay. So, is there any clear list given on what is halal and what is not?
Sure, almost everything is halal or lawful, just except a few which are mentioned to us clearly. So, the list of prohibited things to consume include alcohol, intoxicant, narcotic drugs, blood, and blood byproducts are all unlawful things to consume.
Okay, why is blood unlawful?
Blood is the circulatory cleansing fluid of the body and is not to be consumed as it contains harmful substance and waste products eliminated from the body. Other unlawful things to consume include carnivorous animal, birds of prey, scavengers, and animals improperly slaughtered, sick, or dying before slaughter are unlawful. Swine and all pork byproducts and their derivatives are unlawful. Foods contaminated with any of the above products or with the impurities from the processing such as manure, urine, rodent dropping, infectious fluid, or pus are considered unlawful.
That's quite an insightful reply. A lot to process and understand. But coming to the present scenario and the future of the youth today, what do Muslims hope for in the new millennium?
Muslims hope for peace, justice, and prosperity in their countries and in the world. They hope for the return of their occupied lands and the return of all displaced people to their homes.
I understand.
They hope for continued true Islamic governance in their lands. They hope for a return to the genuine Muslim spirit of tolerance, love, and peace. They hope and pray that others will come to know the reality of their beautiful religion and not fall prey to negative media stereotypes.
Oh, okay. I agree that we must live with peace and harmony with mutual respect for humanity.
Yes, mutual understanding and respect among nations is the key to world peace in our diverse world, as the Quran says. O mankind, we have created you from male and female and made you into nations and tribes, so that you might come to know each other. The noblest of you in God's sight is the one who fears God most. God is all-knowing and all-aware.
It is truly beautiful to learn the answers to these important questions that have been asked by many people around the world. Even though these seem to be deeper topics, it's nice to have a short and brief explanation to understand it.
Yes, there's so much more to explore. What we have discussed is not even the tip of an iceberg.
That's true. It brings about so much understanding and contentment by knowing the truth about Islam.
I agree, and it will bring about an everlasting success. I thank and appreciate all our listeners for joining us for this episode of Successful Ever After.
And I would like to thank and invite you all to join us again for our upcoming episodes where we discuss and answer most frequently asked questions and doubts about the religion of peace. See you soon!